Welcome to this edition of the SKNAS Week in Review, where we recap significant activities of the government of St. Kitts and Nevis over the past week. Coming up, PM Harris announces new stimulus initiative, Minister Powell tours schools ahead of reopening, NHC celebrates 24th anniversary, and the nation says goodbye to Richard Keynes. Those stories and more are next on the SKNAS Week in Review for the period August 28 to September 3rd, 2020. Hello and welcome. The government of St. Kitts and Nevis took the painful decision to cancel this year's Independence Day parade. On Tuesday's edition of Leadership Matters, Prime Minister Dr. The Honourable Timothy Harris said that the decision was deemed necessary in the context of the COVID-19 pandemic. However, the Prime Minister did share good news about a new stimulus initiative for persons whose job status was impacted by COVID-19 and they remain unemployed.
I am pleased to advise that those persons who are not yet back out to work, according to the Social Security records, will receive a further assistance in September to help them meet some of their expenses at this difficult time. I urge those who are fortunate enough to benefit to spend wisely, not on frivolous consumerism, but on essentials for life and living.
Schools in St. Kitts and Nevis officially open on September 7. On Wednesday, Minister of Education, the Honourable Jonel Powell, visited several schools to get a first-hand account of the physical preparations taking place to promote social distancing and other COVID-19 health and safety-related protocols.
I'm quite satisfied so far that we're on the right track, and that is just little things that we need to, little ends we need to tie up. As we go through, teachers are on campuses and doing training through on the MS Teams platforms and in relation to our blended learning. Cleaning has generally been done at all of the schools. We are ensuring that you'd see that, for example, this school has a number of areas where the students can go and wash hands. In other schools that don't have sufficient areas, we have already gotten sinks and are putting those in place so that we enhance that particular practice that we encourage persons to do in terms of washing hands and sanitizing.
On Monday, a donation of health-related equipment and supplies were handed over to the Ministry of Health, specifically 4 ventilators and 3,000 coronavirus rapid test kits were presented by the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan. 10 ventilators were donated by the United States Agency for International Development, and 3,000 kilograms of sanitizing agents were contributed after being procured by the St. Kitts Nevis High Commission in Canada. Minister of Health, the Honourable Akila Byron Nisbet, welcomed the donation.
The government cannot do it alone, and we do need assistance. However, we can get that assistance. And in the Ministry of Health, we absolutely recognize that fact, and we look forward to receiving any contribution, no matter how grand or how small it may be, in order to help us to be able to ensure that we are providing the best health services to our people of St. Kitts and Nevis.
The government's engagement with nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis who live abroad will be even more structured following Cabinet's approval of a diaspora policy. On Monday, Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Honourable Mark Brantley, highlighted the value of maintaining close ties with nationals living abroad.
And I continue to say that our diaspora is important to us. I visited Africa recently, and they say that Africa has 6 regions. 5 in Africa, North, South, East, West, Central. And the 6th region is the diaspora. They have recognized the importance of the African people wherever they happen to be. And so it is important for us as Kidditians and Nevisians to recognize the critical relevance of our people who happen to live in other parts of the world. They are a critical part of us. They are us. And so our diaspora policy will seek to guide our engagement with the diaspora so that they can continue to contribute to national development.
The government of St. Kitts and Nevis has taken yet another step towards improving its border security efforts with the passage of the Advanced Cargo Information Bill 2020 on Thursday. The bill calls for the provision of advanced data information to the Customs and Excise Department from cargo vessels entering the Federation's ports. This information will be shared with other countries with a view of identifying the cargo and persons that may pose risks to the Federation's security, while facilitating trade through electronic data interchange. Prime Minister Dr. The Honorable Timothy Harris piloted the bill through the Federal Parliament.
Mr. Speaker, this lack of information has posed a significant challenge for the Customs and Excise Department to be able to identify to a sufficient degree of certainty the threats posed by incoming consignments to the Federation. This in turn has hindered the department in its ability to effectively implement a proper risk management system. The department has therefore found that the information derived from the manifest system has proven to be inadequate for our contemporary framework and the complex challenges now faced by border control.
The management and staff of the National Housing Corporation is celebrating 24 years of service to the people of St. Kitts this week. The corporation has provided thousands of affordable housing solutions for residents over the years. However, Minister of Human Settlement, the Honorable Eugene Hamilton, said the NHC is doing quite a lot to stimulate economic activity.
Providing jobs for hundreds of persons who are carpenters and masons and plumbers and electricians. We have impacted the working community significantly by what we do. And it is not just about those who do the work, but their families. Because if someone working on a house for NHC who earns is in a position to feed his family, is in a position to provide for his family something that they need from maybe TDC or hospitals or elsewhere. So we are providing food, clothing and shelter by what we do at NHC.
And finally, the nation said goodbye to Richard Keynes last Saturday when he was laid to rest at the Springfield Cemetery following an official funeral at Warner Park. His Excellency the Governor-General, Honorable Prime Minister, members of Parliament and other dignitaries joined with the family and friends of Mr. Keynes to pay tribute to his legacy. Mr. Keynes, a former junior Minister of Finance, philanthropist and social commentator, was eulogized by the nation's first Prime Minister and national hero, Dr. the Right Excellent and the Right Honorable Sir Kennedy Simmons. That's all for this edition of the SKNS Week in Review. I'm Ian Richards.